Yeah. That's right. It is day 4 of Breathe, the most essential activity you can do to have a more complete and more fulfilling life. And we are on part 4A. What does that A stand for today? Well, that A stands for adapt and adjust. That's correct. Adapt and adjust. To be successful in life, we are often going to have to adapt to the conditions that we're around or adjust what we're doing in order to combat those conditions and overcome. Adapting might be the most essential of the essential. Now this, it's not a whole lot really to say on that. Well, I correct that. There is a lot to say on it, but the parts are really simple. It's not always easy, but it is very, very simple. You just sometimes have to adapt. When it's cold, you need to put on clothes so you don't get sick. When it's hot, you need to take clothes off so you're not overheating and you don't get sick. Or you need to put yourself in the best position to protect yourself, ensure, secure, or make the environment the most comfortable or the most conducive for the victory and expected outcome that you're looking for. And that doesn't always mean it's going to be comfortable. Sometimes it means you're going to have to get very uncomfortable, as a matter of fact. For example, I'm wearing one of my heroes, Dr. King, today. And the adjustment that he made, make no mistake, this man was a pure warrior. But the adjustment that he made was in the understanding that violence was not going to be the answer. We lost. If we attempt to fight a war behind enemy lines, violence is not going to be the answer. Our voice had to be counted, which is why the right to vote was such a huge piece of the puzzle, which is why he was willing to do whatever to do it, because he understood that was the only way to hold people accountable. And he did that through nonviolence, because now what we can do, and then television was a thing now, it was coming about. Now the visibility of what's happening is going to hit the world, not just the United States, the world. And we're talking about when you get that kind of pressure, it can help you achieve your expected end. Nobody wanted that black eye. So they marched and they attacked in the manner that they would attack to be effective. The bus boycott, one of the most effective protests in American history. The bus boycott was effective because we adjusted. Instead of people taking that typical means of transportation to work and to school and to wherever else they had to get to, they had to adjust. They had to adjust the way they were playing the game to make their opponent take them more seriously. And in doing so, they hit them where it mattered the most, in their pockets. That's why it was the most effective. That's why it was changed, because all of a sudden, you take away your main source of income, and there are a lot of people that you don't want to be being hurt by this, including yourselves. That's why it works so well. If you watch Champions, any championship that you've watched, be it football or basketball or any of them, they make adjustments. Because if you're in a championship match, please believe the opponent that you're facing, they are just as good. They are just as determined. They are just as focused on imposing their will to get their expected end. They want to win too. They want to win too. You're going up against something. So when you're facing these obstacles, you're going to have to adjust. Those champions understand how to make those halftime adjustments. Often that's when you see the difference in the game, in the second half of the game or later in the game. Those adjustments have been made to stop whatever is happening to you, or to combat, find another way to accomplish what you need to accomplish. Going this way is not working. We need to go this way, or we need to make them think we're going this way and come back this way, or whatever that looks like. It is the same in life. When you come up with a plan and you choose and see a direction that it is that you need to go, when you draw it up, it's a straight line. I need to get from here to here. But it's just like on a map. Sometimes the map just shows the road. It doesn't show necessarily the topography, meaning the terrain, or whatever it is that you're going to have to face. Because you may have to cross a river, and you're going to need a pulley or something to do that, to fight that current. You may have to cross an ocean. You know, maybe a lake, you might have to swim. You're going to have to adjust for that, get in the proper attire. You might have to climb a mountain. You're going to have to adjust for that and get into the proper attire. You may need a guide to get you through that mountain. You may have to go through a valley, okay? And you might have to watch out for the poison ivy in that valley, or you might, whatever the case may be, whatever it is in those situations, you have to be prepared for it. You have to be able to think on the fly. That's why it's so essential, because if you can't make those adjustments, you lose. You lose. And look, since you're determined and you focus and you believe, you're not going to stop. So you have to pick up the skill of the adjustment. Follow the instructions. The goal is still the same. The destination is still the same. You just need to adjust in this moment what you need to do, how you need to get there, what that looks like. Look, that may mean separating yourself from certain people. That may mean putting aside your differences with a certain person that can do what it is you need done. There's no telling what that might mean for you. The long-term goals, put things in place, adjust what you're doing now so you can take care of yourself, these obstacles in the future. Those short-term goals need immediate attention as well. Do those things now, in that moment, to take care of whatever needs to be taken care of to get there. Remember, you are the leader of you. You follow God and those instructions and just fall into the natural order of things and what that is. Okay? Listen to that unction in you, because sometimes it'll tell you to go left when you're going to go right. That's because it knows an adjustment needs to be made. See, that's the power of the Holy Spirit inside. He can see what you can't see, knows what you don't know. Sometimes you just got to listen to that. They may not understand what you're doing. It may be pulling you out of the way when it's like, man, you need to stay in this spot right here. And then all of a sudden, the bottom fall out of that spot because you listened and followed your instructions. Follow your unction. Make that adjustment. Woo! Come on now. Your adjustments. You not only survive, but you thrive. Perfect example. I love this example. Forrest Gump, man. He was out there on the shrimping boat, man. He followed through with a promise that he made, did what he said he was going to do. Old captain came out there to help him. And you know, hey, look, they're not having any luck. Storm comes. Their boat is supposed to be docked, right? Normally, that's what happens. But in those circumstances, God needs to have a meeting with somebody. See, that's what that's simple. God needed to have a meeting with somebody and explain some things and change his life in that moment. And what happened? His boat was the only boat left standing. His boat was the only boat able to get out there. So now when it's hard to find the shrimp, he's the only guy pulling them in. That the Spirit made him, having them out there, that adjustment in keeping them there. You had to go through something to get to something. It's still a fight. It's part of the journey and the destination. It's part of it. So be open to those adjustments and stay focused on the prize, and keep your heart and mind ready to hear, in tune. It all works together. But this part right here is essential because it's simple but not easy. It's very simple, but it ain't easy. It ain't easy. And it ain't always supposed to be. My name is Jayvon Bowens. I am the Super Mogul, and I approve this message.